So we understand that weddings are getting bigger and more expensive. Number one, what is the reason for this? So this is question 1. Is this a positive or negative development? Question 2. All right. So now let's move on and let's see how to write that down. So like I said, we have a 4-paragraph structure. As we know, the introduction will start with the paraphrase of the question. So let me write this down. Sorry. Okay. Right? These two things will be here. Any idea how will we divide body paragraph 1 and 2? How are we going to do that?
Between two questions.
Between two questions. Okay, yes. So like I said, there are two questions. What is the reason, and is this a positive or a negative development? And because there are two direct questions, you will assign 1 paragraph to each question. Simple. It's very simple. Paragraph 1 will be for question 1. Paragraph 2 will be for question 2. So, and then we have the conclusion. So with this, you conclude the entire essay. And let's go up and let's look at the question once again, because one of the students had a doubt. So we see the general statement, we see question 1, and we see question 2. So Harshal, you are saying that they have asked you for your opinion. No, they have not directly or explicitly asked you for your opinion. They are asking whether it is positive or negative. They never ask you that, do you think it is a positive or negative development? No, they've not said such things. And because of that, there is no reason to include your opinion in a very personalized manner. You should make it a very general view and write a general statement on what you think, whether it's positive or negative, but don't personalize it, because yahan pe is it a positive or negative development likha hai. They've not written that, do you think? They have not written that. They did not write that. So therefore, you will not personalize it. This is not an opinion essay for this particular reason. Agar question aisa aata hai ki, okay, what is the reason for this? Do you think it is a positive or a negative development? Then you will go on and write with I. I think, I believe, in my opinion, etc., etc., etc. But if that is not asked explicitly, do not write the personal pronouns or write the essay in a personalized voice. Don't do that. That is exactly what I meant by answer the question and read the question properly, because this is the difference. That's what matters. So agar
Okay.
opinion pucha, then you write it down. If not, write in a general tone. All right. So
Okay,
let's
all right,
move
got
ahead.
it.
Great. So let's move ahead and let's look at the essay itself. So this is a sample essay which I wrote, and let's take a look at this. So this is the introduction paragraph. So let me go into detail and show you step by step, sentence by sentence, how this is written. Firstly, we can see that there are 3 sentences. That's it. It's very clear. So this is a paraphrase of the question itself, that weddings have become large and expensive. They've become luxurious and extravagant in nature. Or wedding ke jagah I've written wedding ceremonies. So I'm not repeating the word as such, because kuch words ke synonyms nahi hote. And in that case, you should try to form related words, or try to change the form of the word by adding something else to it. All
Can
right?
we use marital or marriage ceremonies?
Of course, of course. So yes, wedding has a couple of synonyms, but they are very, very frugal. There's a handful of them, and because you have the entire essay, you will see these words coming up. But yes, that's right. You can absolutely write that down. The second sentence is answering the first question. What is the reason for this? So the fundamental cause, the fundamental reason is to showcase the reputation, to show off. Fine. This is answering the second question. Is this a positive or a negative trend? It's a negative movement. Fine. Clear. So you can see that this is the paraphrase of the question prompt. This is answering the question 1, my thesis statement for question 1. And this is my thesis statement for question 2. Simple. 3-sentence introduction and you are good to go. All right. Now let's look at the first body paragraph. All right. So now let's look at this paragraph closely. But before I go on, What is the core idea of this paragraph? What is this paragraph about and what is this answering? Can somebody tell me that?
Saying that it's a negative impact.
Is it? Read again.
No.
Why they are becoming more extravagant?
Yes, this is answering the first question. This is talking about the reason why people have sophisticated weddings. It's talking only and only about the reasons. It is not talking about anything else. I'm not saying whether it's negative or positive yet. I'm only talking about the reasons, and it is only answering the question one. So body para one is answering question one, which is reasons. This is what the paragraph is about. The entire paragraph is focused on reasons only. All right. So now let's understand this closely. Let's look at the first sentence. The primary motivation for this growing culture is sophisticated materialism. Fine. This is my topic statement. I'm mentioning primary motivation and I'm giving a reason for it. And just by reading the topic statement, I can understand that the paragraph is about reasons because I'm talking about motivations. I'm talking about the reasons for it, the causes for it. All right. So this is my topic statement. And now I'm supporting it with a couple more sentences. All right. So I'm saying that while marriage is considered to be a pivotal milestone in one's life, the exorbitant celebrations are often just an opportunity for people to establish their presence and standard in society, as well as to demonstrate affluence, that how rich they are and the monetary status of the family, right? So I'm supporting this particular line, this particular sentence. It's one sentence, but it's a complex sentence. It's a very detailed sentence with a lot of linkers and a lot of information in just one sentence, right? So this is the kind of sentence structures which you need to write and add in your essay. So this statement is once again supporting this part, the topic statement. Then that is not sufficient, so I'm adding some more things. I'm saying that doing so amplifies the status quo of not only the families, but also the newlyweds. So when they have elaborate weddings, when they have exorbitant celebrations, this boosts the social image of the family as well as the couple, as well as the newlyweds, right? So second supporting statement goes back to this point. Then I say, for example, so now I have to provide an example, it's a requirement. So I say that traditionally, I'm making a comparison now. So I'm talking about traditionally and I'm talking about the present day scenario. So traditionally, ceremonies were hosted in residences, in houses. Yes, that is true. However, nowadays, there is an increase in orchestrating enormous and unforgettable destination weddings. So this is a trend which everybody has heard of. And it is something that has been happening lately. It is not something that was present a few years back, right? And all of this is done just to reinforce the image, to showcase that, okay, I can conduct a wedding or I can organize a wedding better than you or better than anybody else in the community. So there's also a sense of competition to show the social status and the hierarchy of the person, right? So this is only talking about the reasons, the causes, the motivation to have a big wedding. It's only talking about that. All right. Now let's move on and read the second body paragraph. Now let's look at this paragraph closely and tell me what this paragraph is about. What is this about?
Talking about the negative. Negative about the.
It's negative. So in this question prompt, I took a negative stand, and because of my stand, because of my opinion on this, I am writing about the negatives of this movement, of this trend. All right. So we can see that the body paragraph 2, it's answering the second question, that is this a positive or a negative development? It's answering that question only. I'm not talking about the reasons why people do it. I'm talking about what are the consequences of that. Right? It's very simple. So assign one paragraph to each question and be clear. And I took a negative stand because I think, of course, yes, there are elements of conducting a wedding to have memories, to have great pictures, to have a good time. Yes, But in my opinion, that is not sufficient. That is not sufficient to have a large wedding. That reason, because that thing can be used, the resources could be used in a better way. All right. So I'm taking a stand that it's a negative movement. And then let's now read this closely. So let's understand what is given here. First sentence, the topic sentence of the paragraph, the introduction to the paragraph itself. So the outcomes of this progression are highly destructive and often financially crippling. So the outcomes of this progression are highly destructive. Fine. It's clear. Anybody who reads the first line will understand that I think that it's a negative movement, a negative trend, and they understand that what the paragraph is going to be about. It's very clear from the first line itself. That's exactly what you should also do in your essay. Make it very clear in the first line. Take a stand, take a clear opinion, write it down. Simple. Next, let me read another sentence. So such practices often put families or even communities in an economic crisis, as they often take loans due to the pressure of organizing a grand event. Okay, I'm supporting this part. I'm supporting the reason that, okay, it is bad for this reason, for this particular problem. Then I support it more. I say that furthermore, ceremonies like these are not only a waste of money, but also resources. Okay, it is unsustainable and unnecessary. Fine. 2 sentences here. Once again, supporting this part. They're all going back, they're all circling back to support one particular stand and the opinion which I'm having. All right. Then I start by saying, for instance, so once again, as you can see, example, instead of splurging on momentary festivities, the resources could rather be put to a superior use on effective prospects, such as buying a house or investing in a business, which will benefit the couple consequently, right? So now this example is justifying my point that why it is bad and what is the alternative for this. Instead of spending money on events, you can invest it somewhere which gives you returns and which benefits you in the long term, right? So my example, everything what I'm saying is once again going back and supporting my stand, supporting what I feel is the opinion, whatever I feel, whether it's positive or negative, whatever it is, whatever your opinion is, make sure everything in the paragraph is focused around that point only. So each paragraph should have a core idea and something should go around that, and it should all be directed towards that particular point. All right. Now let's move on and let's look at the conclusion paragraph. So this is my conclusion paragraph. As we can see, it's a 2-sentence paragraph, but it is answering all the 3 questions. All right. So the first part, let's look at that. So it's a comma. So let's segregate it here for a moment. Although gatherings and events are required to celebrate nuptials. Okay. Paraphrase of the question prompt once again. Clear in different words meaning the same thing. All right. Now answer 1. They often utilized to publicize monetary status in the society. I'm answering question 1 in that. I'm giving what I think are the other causes for it. It's for publicity. And then following that, I'm saying that this development is unproductive to both the couple and the parents, as the expenses can hamper reaching constructive and meaningful goals in the future, for the future. All right. So in this part, I'm answering the question 2 in 1 sentence. I'm making my position very clear that yes, it is negative. And then I'm giving the reason why. I'm making my positions very clear that, okay, this is the reason for this cause. For this, I'm answering the question as well as supporting it immediately with a few more words. And this line, as you can see, this line summarizes my paragraph 1 immediately. And when you read this line, there is an immediate relation to paragraph 2. So you are summarizing each paragraph in 1 line, in 1 sentence. That's what, in essence, is the conclusion, the summary of everything in 1 or 2 lines. That's it. All right. So before we move ahead, I would like to show you the vocabulary first. So let me start highlighting some of the words. Everybody can help me to find related words to the particular question prompt, which is wedding ceremonies are large and expensive. Okay, so try to find words step by step, sentence by sentence, and we will start underlining and highlighting them. So I will show you the vocabulary which we have used. So let me begin by wedding ceremonies. Okay. Anything else?
Marriage.
Luxurious and extravagant.
Extremely luxurious. Just look at the adjectives and the way I've described. I can say expensive, I can say large, I can say elaborate, but I'm saying supremely luxurious. It means the same thing. It means grandeur and something that is rich, but I'm using a more elaborate, advanced language because I'm writing and I want to show the examiner that, okay, I am well versed in the language and I can take care and I can write good language. I can write a great essay. All right. So this is the kind of language which you should use, the kind of adjectives you need to use to describe some things. The word selection is very important, and make sure you use great words, advanced words related to the topic. All right. Next one, extravagant. Anything else? Let's go line by line.
Fundamental cause.
Fundamental cause, yes.
Negative movement.
Negative movement, yes. But
Ill
before
effects.
that, there is a set of words. Showcase reputation, once again related word. Social circle, related word. Yes. Negative movement, negative trend, negative development became negative movement. All right. Then you can see that it is related to negativity. It should be discouraged. All right.
Ill effects.
Next, ill effects. Okay, yes, fine, we can mark that. Next paragraph.
Sophisticated materialism.
Sophisticated materialism, yes. Growing culture, yes. Primary motivation, the main reason, the main cause, the fundamental cause, the primary motivation. So you can see that I'm constantly using synonyms to indicate the same meaning here and there. I don't want to repeat words. Therefore, I try to find alternative synonyms which mean the exact same thing, right? Next, let's move on. So now let's go here, marriage. An alternative word, the first time I'm using here. Then
Pivotal milestone.
pivotal milestone, yes.
Exorbitant.
Exorbitant celebrations, yes.
Opportunity for people to establish their presence.
Opportunity for people, yes. Establishing presence, yes. And standard, yes. Society, very important, yes.
Demonstrate affluence.
Demonstrate affluence, what does it mean in simple words? In the most simple terms. Think about it. Find a simpler
Show
term.
their
This is
influence.
to show off their wealth. To show affluence means the riches, the wealth.
So their
So to
standard.
demonstrate affluence, to show off the money, to show off the wealth which I have. That's what it means, to demonstrate affluence. So we can see that very simple terms have been made elaborate just by the change of words. That is exactly what you should do. All right. Next, let's go on.
Amplifies status quo.
Amplifies the status quo. Yes. There is a very nice word I've used. Can you spot that? It's a
Newlyweds.
synonym. Newlyweds. Okay. Then let's move on. Any other words?
Traditionally marriage.
Ever growing.
Yes, traditionally, yes. Marriage
Marriage
ceremonies, yes.
Orchestrating in order.
Bridal groom.
Orchestrate, let me come to that, but hosted, residences, bride and groom, all of these words related to the topic, Okay, let's look at some more words.
Ever growing increase.
Something that is increasing, so ever growing increase.
Orchestrating.
Orchestrating, enormous and unforgettable. Destination wedding. So it's a great term. I've used adjectives, I've used phrases, I've used certain words which go together in a pair. And it's good. It just gives a feeling that, okay, the essay is completely on topic and all the words are going and directing in one particular point, which is weddings. All right. Reinforce the image, community. So instead of society, I wrote community this time. All right. It means the same thing, but different words. Let's move on to the next paragraph.
Progression.
Progression, yes, fine.
or
which
outcome.
means movement, trend, outcome. Yes, the result, the consequence. What is the consequence of this trend, the outcomes of this progression? All right. Next,
Highly
highly
destructive.
highly
Financially crippling.
destructive,
financially
financially
crippling,
crippling. Yes. Anyone else? Next. Let's move on.
Economic crisis.
Yes, economic crisis. I
Loan.
want everybody to participate. So, guys,
organizing
please
grand
speak
event,
up. If you spot some words, go on.
Pressure
Yes.
of organizing a grand event.
Loans.
Pressure of organizing an event. Loans. Yes, take loans. People take loans. Any other words?
Of
Let's
money.
move on. Ceremonies. Yes.
Waste
Waste
of
of money.
resource,
waste of
Waste of
resources.
resources.
Waste of resources. Yes.
Unsustainable and unnecessary.
Unsustainable, unnecessary. Fine.
uh,
Splurging.
Splurging. That's a very nice word. To spend a lot. To splurge on something. Next.
Festivities.
Momentary festivity. Look again. Festivities are fine, but let's say we're talking about a wedding, and I want to say that it's something very small, something somewhat temporary in the longer term, and it's momentary when compared to the several years you have ahead of you. So, momentary festivities, right? Next.
Superior use. Effective prospect.
Use. Effective prospects. Yes.
Investing in a business.
Fine.
Couple.
Couple, benefit the couple consequently, right? Let's move on to the conclusion paragraph now. Let's spot some words which are related, the vocabulary which is related to this topic and the questions asked here.
Gatherings.
Rings, yes. Events. So instead of weddings, celebrations, I have used a lot of words here which mean the same thing, which are directed to the same meaning. All right. Next. Nuptials. Celebrate nuptials. Nuptials means wedding or marriage. All right.
Publicize.
Publicize, yes. Occasions. Another synonym for events. Another synonym for celebrations for a party. Another synonym, sorry. Next.
Monetary status.
Monetary status. The financial status. The monetary position. Monetary status. Society, once again, yes.
Unproductive.
Development. Unproductive, yes.
Expensive.
Expenses. Can
Hamper.
hamper, yes.
Constructive.
Constructive.
Meaningful goals.
Meaningful
Future.
goals for the future. All right. So now, as you can see, as we underline step by step, we notice that there's a lot of language which is used specifically for that particular topic. All of these words are going around and they're centered and focused on a particular topic, and this is exactly what you should do. The kind of synonyms I've used, the adjectives I've used to describe a particular thing. Just say, let me demonstrate one for you. Let me show one. For example, wedding ki jagah, if I write wedding ceremonies, it counts as a different word. It counts as a different word. Let's say exorbitant
Marriage.
celebrations, marriage. Milestone, partially, not so much. Marriage ceremonies, fine. Destination
Bride or groom.
weddings. Bride and groom, yes. But let's just talk about wedding, the event itself. All right, event. Ceremony, once again.
Momentary.
Momentary festivities. Then let's go on. Gathering, event, nuptials. An alternative for weddings or marriage. Anything else? Occasions. Right? So all of these words, they are referring to marriage. They are synonyms for marriage. But there are hardly a few times when I've repeated a particular word to demonstrate something. Maybe this is marriage, मैंने यहाँ पे लिखा है, but here I've written marriage ceremony. So it counts as a different word. It counts as a different word. All right. It will not count as the same word. So you will get more marks because you're not repeating a particular term. All right. Now, let's quickly go through the linking words, which are very important. So let's see if I can highlight some. This is largely as, yes, while, yes, present,
As well.
and, sorry,
As well.
as well as, correct. Doing so, a rare linking word. Not only, but also. So this always goes in a pair. Not only, but also. Then, let's see.
However.
However, yes, correct. Next.
Furthermore.
Furthermore, such.
Is a partial linking word. Yes, furthermore. What practices?
For-
Such practices.
For instance.
All right. But also. So not only, but also, once again, another linking word here. This is a simple sentence. So rarely, I use simple sentences very rarely, but if you do use, that's fine. But don't write the entire essay with just simple sentences. That will cause a loss in marks, right? Next.
For instance.
For instance, not a linking word, but let's mark it down because it connects the idea to the paragraph, the example to the paragraph. Instead of this, you can do this. Rather, okay, such as, all of these, which will, linking words again and again to link ideas and make the sentence more elaborate. To develop the sentence, you use linking words. Next, let's move on.
Although.
Oh yes, of course. So we have although. So although XYZ, comma, few more reasons. So although के बाद हमेशा comma आता है. Then this, which development? This development is unproductive to both. To both is not exactly a linking word, but it's used to connect sentences together, connect small parts of the sentence together. Okay, as, and, right? So all of these are linking words and linkers which I've used throughout the essay, which is exactly what you should also try to implement and write your essay with such words, with such a language. All right.
And if we want to go for the positives, so then I think there is no more information. I think there is information, but if we will.
So, देखो मैंने इसमें because अच्छा, one more thing I wanted to show. Fine, great. So let me showcase that now. First thing is, I was very clear from the beginning that I think it's a negative development. मैंने starting में I mentioned it and I'm clear. There is no doubt. Therefore, my body paragraph 2 is only focusing on the negatives itself. It is not talking anything about the positive because I have no view or no weight towards the positive side. I don't think so. All right. Now, if you have a positive view, if you think that it's a positive movement, great. Your entire paragraph can be focused on that. Make sure you provide the topic sentence, the supporting sentences, and the examples. Take a stand where you know you have sufficient content to write. अगर आपके पास है, लिखो, that's fine. It doesn't matter what the view is, but write it down and make sure you have enough content, enough substance for that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that we can only think about it that it's a positive.
Yes. So negative is an easier way to write it down because you have a lot of substance and content circling around that topic. You can write that down. If it's positive, you can go with that. Both are fine.
All right. But I think
Yes.
negative.
And one more thing, because you asked, I remembered something which was asked earlier in the class. So they have asked for the opinion, but they've asked not for your opinion. They've asked for an opinion from you, but not your opinion. So you can notice that nowhere I have used I, me, they. They I've used because I'm referencing the parents and the families, or you. I have not used any sort of personal pronouns, and occasionally I have used they for the reason that I'm referencing to the families whom I'm talking about in the paragraph itself, like they, who takes, the family takes, they take. All right. So that is once again related to the content and the people in the example and in the paragraph. But nowhere I've written I, me, my opinion, I feel, in my opinion, nowhere. Because मुझे मेरा opinion नहीं पूछा गया. They've asked me for what I think in a very general term. So therefore you will write in a very general term. There will be no opinion paragraph anywhere, or nowhere will you write to conclude or in my opinion. No. They've not asked you for that. So don't write it down. Write your stand, but in a generalized way. You will only write the opinion where it is clearly asked that what is your opinion. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Do you think this is a positive or negative development? जब you के साथ पूछा गया question, then you will write with your opinion. In any other case, your essay will be very general and very professional and formal. There will be no personality, there will be no personal influence on that. All right?